All right, and we are back. Junkyard Dave is going to be running Joe and Mac for us. Take it away, Junkyard Dave.
Yeah, I'm sure this is like the main event, right? Like everybody came for Joe and Mac. So welcome everybody. This is Joe and Mac. Oddly, there's multiple different like difficult settings in this game, but on SRC you only run the game on easy. So there's a very good explanation for that, and I will explain why momentarily. So we're gonna go like this, and timing starts when we say 3, 2, 1, go. So let's say 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is Joe and Mac. I'm not the best when it comes to this game. I actually only learned this game almost like a week ago, so it's going to be an interesting experience. But the cool part about this game is it's actually pretty oddly marathon friendly, and at the same time it's not marathon friendly. So I ended up learning it for an event that we actually just held where everybody had a week to learn a random speedrun. And I learned it pretty well, you know, like I learned it to like the record route or whatever at the time. I'm like 2 minutes off of the record. But this is not a good speed game. I would absolutely not recommend this one. If you've ever thought in your life, like, man, I think about learning Joe and Mac, it's probably a really good speedrun. Do not. Like, let me tell you right now, do not. So what makes this game kind of obnoxious as a speedrun is, I was actually just talking to Carter about that, and in level 2 there's basically a drop. We're looking for a wheel to drop, and it's about a 20% chance, 25% chance. And it's a specific pterodactyl that's carrying an egg, and we really want that wheel. And the wheel matters hugely, because if you don't get the wheel, you're probably going to lose about 5 minutes across the course of the run. There's 12 different stages in this game, so we get a chance at the wheel on level 2. We get another chance at level 4. And if we don't see the wheel on either of those levels, sure man, then the next time that we see the wheel is level... Okay, we got fire. Okay. Carter, I hate everything, man. Like... But, so yeah, what makes this really obnoxious now is, like, you have to change all of your strats. Because the next time that we get a chance at the wheel is literally, I guess, level 11, and, well, I guess there's one on level 4, but if we don't get it then, yeah, it's great. So, the fire does this, well, I guess the fire does the exact same damage as the wheel. The only difference with the wheel is you can have 2 on screen at the same time. So the fire is slower. And then on top of that too, you can only have 1 on screen. So it's a little bit obnoxious, and that's why we want the wheel, because it changes like every strat. But yeah, it's great. So this is why it's not really a great like marathon run, because there's a huge amount of resetting here.
Yeah, I'd been watching Dave practice this over the last week, and I felt really bad after I learned about the 20% wheel chance. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not like going to be a huge time difference, but like just not getting the wheel loses you like at least 2 minutes no matter what. And it's like, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, no, it actually like it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So there's some weird mechanics in this too. Apparently this pterodactyl's face, you want to hit him on like the beak, it does double damage. Why? Question mark. It's just that way. So this egg at the very beginning of this level is the second last chance that we have for a wheel to drop. We have fire again. It's beautiful. Good old double fire. So that means we're not going to see the wheel until level 11, which is great. So all the cool strats that we learned how to do, according to the record, apparently we're not going to be able to show them off, because there's just no wheel.
Hey, at least you get to show off all the strats you do if you don't get the wheel.
I guess so. But, you know, like when I was learning this game originally, as I said, like we had like a week to learn everything, right? I made the joke originally that the record has like 2,228 resets or something. Like it's actually a lot of resets. So, and I thought originally like the record was like super okay, I guess we're gonna just die. But I thought at the time, like the record was like super optimized, and it's still pretty optimized. But yeah, no, you know what? We're actually gonna go in here for a second. So this is a bonus game, considering we took that extremely weird death on the water. We can run through the bonus game like this and collect 2 extra lives, which probably doesn't really matter in a marathon setting, but if you game over in this game, it's kind of a pain, so you can grab these 2 1-ups here. But I was gonna say, I made the joke originally saying like, oh, you know what, I guess this guy probably reset like 2,000 times on level 2. Guess what? He probably did. Like, I think this is the reality of this run, so... Yeah, if you don't get that 20% wheel drop in level 2, like, it becomes a massive reset fest, and kind of what I was saying earlier is like why there's no kind of like medium or like hard mode categories in this game is because every boss is super obnoxious. Like, every boss has a lot of health in this game, and it would take forever. It already takes forever on some of the bosses to kill just on easy mode, so...
Shoutouts to the devs to leaving like 5 health pickups like right at the end of the stage, by the way.
It is an apology. Like, if you ever thought that they were sorry for making an auto-scroller where there was like 10,000 enemies, it's because of that. Like, they literally put like 6 health pickups at the end of the level to say, I'm sorry, man. Like, there's 9,998 enemies too much in this stage. So, 100%, I feel it's like a direct apology, literally. There, you're supposed to literally have a wheel, so you can like toss wheels back and forth. Now we have a fireball. So we just have to kind of like nail all these dolphins. When the dolphins jump up is completely random. And it's even better because like the fire, you can see like you can only have 1 on screen. So if you don't kind of like throw it ahead of time, you'll obviously lose a lot of time like that. So coming up here, this is like one of, I don't know if this is like super lazy game design. Like, so this is like not even like a 10-second stage. You just kind of like wait up here, and then it'll drop you off, and there's like another boss fight at the very bottom. But what's kind of funny is this thing that comes out of the water. He's got a projectile. He's one of the few bosses that has a projectile. And his projectile is whatever weapon that you have equipped. So he's gonna shoot a fireball, but he can also shoot like batarangs and wheels himself. But maybe we'll get to see him use our own weapon against us. Oh, there you go. See? So, what do you think? You think that's lazy, or you think that's ingenious? Like, I don't know what it is.
I think that's ingenious. Obviously, just you know, the dinosaur is just prepared and is going to fight fire with fire.
Literally, yeah. So we get, okay, this is an invincible cycle. We can't actually kill him when he's doing this, so that's again one of the benefits of the wheel is you don't usually see that. Thank you. That was so necessary. Yeah, like this guy is like almost always a 1 cycle with the wheel, but clearly with the fire he becomes like 3.5, so it's great.
We have Toxic Cosmic asking, does damage change per item, or is it the same?
I think it's the same. I don't believe it changes per item. So, oh my god, what is that spawn? I got ripped off. What was that? That's amazing, man. Okay, we're down here. That dude literally spawning was incredible. I was actually trying to get the meat up there, but apparently it's not allowed, so... Ah yeah, you heard the guy get hit twice there? That's because this game has an amazing thing in it, where if you duck... Okay wait, there's something extremely weird here too. We actually want to kill all of these cavemen as they appear on screen because there's like a sprite limit thing going on here. Where, okay, and we didn't do it anyway. So there's actually supposed to be a 1-up in that corner, and if there's too many sprites on the screen, it just despawns, and apparently it was still despawned. Maybe because that guy like rolled off. So this is like probably, if I was a kid and I saw this, like I would be really scared. because you fight like this mammoth, right? And it looks kind of normal compared to like all the other boss fights. And then he suddenly loses his trunk, which is a little bit gruesome, or not his trunk, sorry, his tusk. And as you keep fighting him, he loses his trunk, and now he's like this, like... He looks pretty wounded, man. Like, I think Kidney would have been scared. He's got the most gruesome death animation in the entire game. You know, I feel they literally... Like, I don't know what's going on. They just literally decided, you know what, like, let's really kill this mammoth. What's up, Jank Jesus? So we have another pterodactyl fight. The same logic applies before, where the pterodactyl is weak in its face. So we're gonna try to hit its face as much as we can. And now it has multiple different patterns. So it'll come in from the right, and then I think it mirrors this as part of its cycle. So... yeah. So ideally... see, and we have to do another cycle, which is great. Okay. Alright. Yeah, welcome on in, Raiders. This is Joe and Mac. And my advice to everybody that's just coming in is never play Joe and Mac. Not as a speedrun. Casual game, it's pretty good, but don't speedrun this game.
So just real quick here, we have a $1 donation from Gravy saying you can never miss an opportunity to become elite. And just for all the new people coming in from the raid here, we are raising money for Child's Play Charity. It is a charity that provides video games and provides help for kids that may be in hospitals long term, be it like VR setups that can let children experience an MRI without being in the machine yet, or just games for kids that may have long-term stays at hospitals. It's for a great cause, so if anyone would like to donate, we have the donation link here in chat, and we also have prizes that you can get if you make certain donation thresholds, which you can see that in chat as well. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the marathon.
No, good cause. Definitely happy to be part of it. So one kind of weird thing about the bosses and stuff like that is you kind of see like him using a battering, dude. Batman is ridden me forever, the boomerang. And the boomerang is kind of weird in this game because it does the lowest amount of damage, but the logic behind using the boomerang here is you can have 3 on screen instead of 1 fire, 2 wheels. And anything that's considered a T-Rex enemy, which this guy is, you do 1 damage to him instead of, you know, the usual like 4 damage for the wheel or fire. So funny enough, on this T-Rex specifically, if you did have the wheel, there is a glitch where as soon as his iframes become available again, you can basically like double throw a wheel into his iframes, and you can actually do double damage, so it does, I guess, like 2 damage instead of like the normal 1. But again, that's another thing that I can't show off because we got screwed in the second level. Just don't have the wheel. So... but you know, like the one kind of like bad thing about this, like it's very reset heavy, like clearly if you don't get the wheel and the proper RNG and stuff like that. But I would say like the one kind of interesting thing is like it does change everything in what you're able to do in the speedrun. Like you literally need a lot of adaptability, but the downside is it doesn't matter because you can be like extremely adaptable, but you're just gonna lose a bunch of time. And you know what, I wish actually, Carter, that I told you, you know what, like here's the time you want to talk. This is the slowest boss in the entire game. So the fact that you did, you know, the whole donation thing, like,
oh no.
Yeah, now we got like ages, man. Like this guy moves around forever.
Well, you're beating this guy up. You can actually mention, you were telling me about this on your stream, about how there's the Genesis version of this.
Yeah. So the Super Nintendo record is like 20 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that. I ended up finishing with like a 22:55, I think, in like the week that I learned it, so it wasn't that bad. The Genesis record basically has a totally different mechanic that makes all these boss fights way quicker, and you can basically charge up every weapon and do a massive amount of damage. The stages are mostly the same. The Genesis version is a little bit shorter in some stages, but it's like the same amount of levels and stuff like that. So yeah, the Super Nintendo record is like 22 minutes, the Genesis record is 7. So that mechanic makes a huge difference, because the boss fights in this game just drag on forever on the Super Nintendo version. But this guy is like complete RNG, he just bounces around. Ideally you want him to bounce in such a way that he doesn't go off screen. Sometimes he does, sometimes he does not. And he just literally, see, like he bounced like 8, 9 times, like what is it? And he still got one more cycle, so that's basically what goes on here. But he is by far the worst boss. I actually wish that I had, you know, like the spread of RNG that you're dealing with here, but I do not. So that was actually pretty quick. You want him to do stuff like that. He just bounces a couple of times. But yeah, no, it's like actually insane.
There's definitely not very many games where there's that much of a difference between the console variations.
No, I was really surprised. And see, this is one of the cool areas too, because I actually rerouted the record completely in how I was able to do this screen. But can you take a guess, Carter, what it's contingent on?
Is it possibly having the wheel?
Yeah. So now we gotta wait like a sucker everywhere. It's like, whatever, man. But yeah, and funny enough, oh, okay, apparently we're hitting that T-Rex in the face. Yeah, there's actually a couple screens that I found some cool strats for that the record didn't go for originally. And this is a really weird boss. So you basically, like, he'll snap his head after he falls apart. He'll make like that little snapping noise. He'll do it about 3 times. And you want to jump like as cardinal north as possible, because he'll fly off screen, and then the farther north you are, like if you go like here, you see how fast that was? That was correct compared to the last time. Then he just comes back. So that's kind of all there is to that guy. But so we have the worst boss coming up too, but lucky, not really. This is one of the only stages that has the wheel, so we finally get to see this mystical thing. And what's really funny is this spot coming up here, there's sometimes meat. Okay, I was very happy about that. Sometimes that meat is nothing, sometimes it just doesn't spawn, sometimes that meat is a campfire, sometimes that meat is a double campfire. And why that works, I have no idea. So I'm glad that I got the meat, because I was a little bit wounded there. But yeah, we have finally the wheel, which, you know what the best part about that is, Carter?
What's the best part?
You don't need the wheel for this stage, so we do all this.
Oh no.
And then we switch back to this thing for this boss. So it's like, come on, man. Like, this game has a sense of humor.
It's like the one boss that wheel isn't better against too.
Yep, this T-Rex is still a T-Rex, so the same logic applies as before, but this T-Rex, unlike the gray one, does not have like that glitch going on where you can like throw extra wheels into his iframes. So the idea here is still to have like 3 boomerangs on screen at the same time to hit him, you know, hopefully as much as possible than there is to have like a wheel or 2 wheels on the screen and you're accidentally lagging it. Because the downside with the wheel is, like, let's say I throw it and I miss, right? Then it stays on screen forever. But this is one of the worst boss fights in the entire game. Like, he takes as long as, like, a stage, or some of the stages, actually. And he's just random enough where he comes back here and he, like, ducks down like that. So it's pretty easy.
If we go back like 10ish minutes now to the auto scroller that we just like only went down and we just immediately got to a boss, this is significantly longer than that, plus the boss, it feels like. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, he, like, it's the worst. And this is, I think, the whole reason that the guys on SRC, when they made this board, they're like, we don't want a different category. Like, imagine his health, but like times 3. It's like, nobody would like that. So we might not die, maybe. Actually, taking a death here is not the worst thing, so. But yeah, this boss is riveting. He just lasts forever no matter what you do. Okay, nice. So yeah, this
liked
is... Oops, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I like that you fed him a wheel for good measure at the end there.
Yes. We're not petty at all, you know? Actually, that's a lie. We're very petty. Like, come on, game, you screwed me twice. But yeah, this is the last level, and okay, that was amazing. And the weird thing about... Okay, wheels, please. Like, go away. Sure. The best... Okay, they're just... Never... Okay, whatever, man. But yeah, the best part about, like, this level, or the final level, is the boss fights take forever. Like, the boss rush is, like, probably, like, 5 minutes of the speedrun. So we have, like, these two imps. It's also worth noting, actually, in the Genesis version. I don't know what's going on in the Genesis version. There's, like, some kind of, like, goblin overlord or something that you verse at the end. But they got replaced by, like, this little red imp in the Super Nintendo version for reasons unknown. So the boss fight in the Super Nintendo version also starts off with these, like, 8 giant clam things, because also question mark. Like, I don't know the exact lore about why these exist or, like, why they're in this layer, but they are. And then when we get to the red imp, it's just like a massive amount of RNG, so it's great. The one thing that you don't want him to do, he's got like an attack, so you can see how the wheel stays on screen, right? So like you have to be careful in how you throw too. And it doesn't double throw or anything like that. So this is ideally, I guess, what you want him to do, because as Joe bounces around here back and forth, we don't want to actually kill like the clone, which of course we immediately kill the clone. So great job. But as the clone is alive, he actually can't do another attack, so that's the best way to damage this guy. Otherwise, he's got probably like 5 different attacks that he can cycle through. And the clones that he can summon, we want him to stay on the ground actually, so we actually got lucky here. That's the bad clone that kind of is all over the place. So ideally we don't want this one as much, but whatever. Okay, we killed the clone again. The game is really trying to redeem itself, saying, you know what, we had really bad RNG for like the last 20 minutes. And we're just like killing the clones like a fool. So this one, he stabs his own heart. Like, I don't know where we are in this boss fight. I would be open to chat conspiracy theories. Like, we clearly got eaten by some kind of massive animal or something like that.
Maybe we're inside the dinosaur that we just took out in the previous level.
Oh, maybe. Maybe it's the red dino. I never thought of it. Why would we kill the dinosaur and like directly climb into his body though? That's weird. Like, I need a follow-up answer. That wasn't rhetorical. Please answer me, Carter.
I mean, the heart's beating, so clearly he's not dead. We're just we're checking to make sure he's all right. You know?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where we are, but yeah, this is the final guy. So he also has. This is the worst pattern actually that he can give you. He's actually completely immune here. I'll take the death. That's okay. But yeah, he's like completely immune for like 7 seconds or more, so you can't hit him during that. I think I got that pattern like 3 times in like the PB that I got, so it's really fantastic. And this one you want him to spawn kind of like low to the ground, or spawn any of these like attacks. So this is the game that keeps on giving too, because I'm like directly under him. But there's like hitbox weirdness in this game, where if you are too directly below or close to an enemy, your club which does 1 damage, takes priority over the wheel that does 4. So you always want to be a little bit of a distance away from, I guess, whatever you're trying to hit. And I don't know the health on this guy. I think he's got 120, but the previous goblin, whatever this guy is supposed to be, gremlin, had 80. So it's like 20 wheels, and then it's like another 25 or 30 wheels you have to throw into this guy. But luckily this guy has, I think, more favorable patterns that he allows you to do that. The other one has a lot of kind of like waiting patterns too. But it's a great game again, so I have to defend it slightly. Like, if you get the wheel, which is again about a 20 to 25% drop in level 2, the rest of the speedrun isn't bad. But if you're in a no marathon, or sorry, like no reset kind of marathon setting, oh, there you go, that would have been time. Yeah, it's not as good because like every strat changes, every boss fight is slower, so it's definitely not as fun.
All right, so being done with Joe and Mac, are there any shoutouts you want to make for the Joe and Mac community or anything like that?
You know what, the record holder, there's a former record holder that was in my chat, and he was really friendly. His name was like Boss something. I only talked to him for like a couple of minutes. Well, I guess it was about an hour or whatever. But there is a code at the end of this level. So the whole story about this game is like we're supposed to rescue cave babes and stuff like that, as defined by the game. So there's a code that you can put in right now where it says sound creator, and if you hold a sequence of buttons, it changes all the cave babes into these... Oh, we did it wrong! That's okay. It changes all of them into the first one, but I guess you get to see all the ones that we rescued. But other than that, yeah, the Joe and Mac community I'm sure is a good community, but realistically I learned this game in like 7 days and I didn't really get to meet a lot of them, so... yeah, the record's pretty, like, I'm curious how long they grinded the record for though, because it's a pretty decent record.
Just having to fish for that good RNG, of course, is going to make it very hard to get a solid run as well. All right, so we're going to be heading to intermission here, and we still have 2 more runs set up for Junkyard Dave here. The next run is going to be Bucky O'Hare. Stay tuned, we will be right back.